What's good, everyone? Bryson Price here. Good to be back with you guys. I had work last week, so I wasn't able to hop on the live stream at the usual time. But I did start something on Saturday on Facebook Live. Here, let me see here. Alright, so yeah, they got it working on my computer here on my laptop. But yeah, so I hopped on Facebook Live last Saturday and I started this song. And yeah, I like the way it came out. I would like to see what I could do if I expand on it. So good to be back with you guys and creating music. So let's get into it right here. So this is what I came up with on Saturday. So yeah, this is pretty cool. You know, if you ever heard the song by Kanye West called Big Brother, let me pull it up here. It has those same kind of vibes to it, in my opinion. I wasn't going for that, but it just came out that way. If you want to look up this song later, it's called Big Brother by Kanye West. It just kind of reminds me of that. Maybe it's the ride cymbal that I have in there, but the overall vibe, it's kind of like dreamy, that sort of a style, but like this ride cymbal, you know, Big Brother has that as well. If you're hopping on right now, just say what's up in the comments. Let me know you're in here. Love to have you here with me, creating music. But yeah, so my idea today, I was just gonna leave this as like a hip hop beat, and maybe just try to send it to somebody. But my idea was that this end part sounded like it could be a really cool, different, dreamy kind of a drop. If I just changed some of the sounds around, added a little bit more intensity, and stacked and beefed up some of the sounds, it could be kind of a cool, like, little breakdown, chill kind of drop, like almost like Flume a little bit in a way. And maybe have those chords pulsing. So I'm gonna work on that. I don't know exactly how this is gonna come out. It's just an idea that I had in my mind. Yeah, but yeah, let's get to work here. I'm gonna just add a different section here called drop. And I'm gonna copy over the basic structure that I have going on here. I think I wanna keep, let me just drag this whole section since that was the idea. And for now, I'm going to take out these hi-hats. Actually, I won't take them out. I don't want them to be hitting every single measure like that. I'll just duplicate it. Just keep a really basic pattern. That way, it doesn't limit me to adding different ideas to it. So I just want a basic hi-hat pattern like that. And that wah in the background's cool. That would work. And another thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to mute that melody that I have going on there. Actually, instead of muting it, I'm just going to deactivate it. I do want it in there, but I just don't want to be limited right now to what I add into it. And it'd be cool if it was kind of like stop and go, like it had the chords and then it had like these sort of things. I love that. That sounds cool. Yeah, so I'm gonna deactivate that too. And then maybe I'll start off with the sub bass here, something that has the basic bass line of what's gonna be the drop. So I'm gonna add in a serum, and I believe the notes I've got going on is C. Change this to basic shapes. I'm not gonna worry about beefing up the top end right now. I just want to have that basic sub. Okay. And then let me figure out and see what the bass notes are. I added the 808s here, so I believe it's C, and then F, and then D sharp for that bottom note. I'm gonna add that in and see if that's correct. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Just draw that in right here. Got the C. And then F. And then got that D sharp there too. Alright, cool. Yeah, that's right. So I'm going to drag that into the little drop section that I've got going on here. And actually, I'm not going to keep that going. I'm going to cut that off once the string's cut off. And I'm gonna beef up those strings. I want those strings to be like in your face. When I originally made this, I didn't want those to be overpowering because it was more of like you don't, it's just like you don't want that in hip hop, you know, you don't want the strings to be so up front. And then that's why I actually ended up changing the sound to this in the intro. So, so I'm gonna start turning up the sounds here. Let me make sure I got the side chain on. That's gonna be important. And I don't think I have a side chain on the sub bass. Let me go ahead and add that here. I'm gonna separate this this long bass from the 808s because the way I process it's gonna be different. And if you're tuned in right now, I just want to thank you for watching. It's just so good to be back. I had to work last week, which was cool. You know, I got to work with my wife, so it was fun. But I just love making music. You know, I love to be back here with you guys on YouTube, just hanging out. Like, music is my passion. I like working in nursing homes. It's cool, but this is what I really love doing, though. Make sure that this side chain is ducking exactly where it's supposed to be. I don't have it ducking here, which would be a problem. that would be kind of cool if I had it, these chords kind of like the pitch kind of raising up, or sorry, not raising up, but the pitch coming from like -12 up to 0. Let me show you what I mean by that. When that first initial hit comes in, I'm going to change these semitones to -12 and +12, and then I'm going to draw it in over here, just like that, and let's see what that sounds like without the sub, because I don't have the sub doing that same thing. And then maybe even like a filter effect coming in like that too. You hear how it kind of sounds like it's bending? And then if I add like a filter there too, that would sound pretty cool. So the filter is doing the same automation as like the pitch. That makes it sound real dreamy. That's the whole vibe I'm going for on this. I want it to be dreamy, because that's just how it came out when I made it, and I thought that was really cool. So that's what I'm going to be going for. I got a new song coming for you guys in 3 weeks. Actually, I think this Thursday is going to be 2 weeks. So that song has a heavy drop. So it would be cool if I made something like this that was dreamy to follow up that release. Maybe add a little bit of resonance to that. That would be cool. I don't know if I like it on that same knob, so I'm going to delete it off of that knob, unmap that, and then I'm going to place it on a knob of its own, like that. So like that, so it's going to come up and come down as it progresses. Trying to make this effect a little bit more drastic. And then what I'm going to do here is copy this same exact pitch automation onto the sub bass. And that, like, if this sounds good, then that's going to be cool, because like that high C sub bass is kind of piercing. It's like the higher you go with the sub bass, it just sounds really like pointed. So it's gonna be cool if this sounds right, because it kind of ease in that higher sub frequency. Change this to -12, just like that synth was. I don't hear the automation happening. Oh, I put it on the wrong thing. I put it on the mixer somehow. So MIDI control, pitch bend, now paste it in there. Maybe I'll have this frequency come in. I want it to be like full effect at this point. So I'm going to fix that here real quick. maybe come in a little bit sharper, like that. And then now that I can really hear that resonance, I might turn it down a little bit. Have that cut off more drastic like that. So I want to add in some like pulsing chords. See if I can make some of those real quick here. And then what I'll do is I'll just extend these out. So I'm going to quantize it and do like start to end. And then I can just go ahead and extend this out. Like that. I'm going to take out that little pitch bend because I'm just going to use these for pulsing. And then I'm going to come into Serum and automate the level with an LFO. Like that. And that one. And then the sub bass too. Oh, and then the noise. I forgot the noise. So let me see if I can bring this in just after here. I don't know how this is going to sound, but I'm just coming up with the basic rhythm for the drop that I can use. I kind of have an overall structure, but I don't know exactly how I want it to go. That would be cool on this part if it just kind of like sped up for a split second. So automate that LFO. And what I'll do is put this in a rack, just like I always do. Map this to macro 1 so that when it's all the way down, the lowest it can go is like 1/4, and then when it's all the way up, the highest it can go is, let's just say 132. And the reason why I do that is just because it gets real tricky to like draw in so fine of adjustments on here, but when you do this, it's like you can see like this right here is 1/8, this right here is 1/16, that's 132. But if I hadn't done that, then it would be like a little adjustment like that would change the rate. But this just makes it easier for me. I like this better. We'll leave this as like the bass line, the 1/8. And then let's speed it up to 1/16 as that snare hits. maybe on like every snare hit, that'd be cool. That'd be cool to make this sound like a little bit less basic, you know. Like that super saw synth is a cool sound, but what if it was just something different? You know, this beat's already kind of different. So I'm gonna save that there. I'm gonna mute this, and then let's just experiment with different sounds that we could plug in there. It's kind of a cool sound. And how's the volume on everything? Everything sound good? Video okay? The sound okay? On Facebook last weekend, so I've got my baby monitor here. Let me show you real quick. I create music right now at 12:15 when my daughter's sleeping. So I've got this baby monitor right here, and you can turn the sound on. And I always play white noise for her so she goes to sleep, and then also so that she can't hear me in here. But listen to the sound. So I accidentally had this playing under the microphone the whole live stream, and I didn't even realize it until after I was listening to the recording, and it kind of messed up the sound. I don't know if it's that noticeable, but the sound didn't sound as clear because that was right under the microphone. But yeah, so I don't know why I shared that, but just thought it was funny. Hey Mario, what's up, man? You said using that reverb chopping has made my beats bopping, been making some weird trap. That's cool, man. Was that something that I did here on the live stream? I can't remember or not, or is it just something that you learned on your own? So I just got the idea to cut everything out and add in like a hey on this part. I got this vocal sample that I love. It's a hey vocal sample. I got it on Splice, like a lot of my samples. And then I'll probably reverb it up. Automate the reverb. I like this little bass clef washout tool that I use. You said, no, I saw you do it and tried it myself. I used it, I used to use sidechain instead of automation on volume. Well, cool, man. I'm like that. I'm really pleased to hear that. Like you took something away from what what I do here, and that you implemented it into your production, and it sounds good. Yeah, that's definitely key. I don't know if you're talking about automating reverb, but I do that, which is really helpful. I saw a video pop up on my timeline on YouTube saying why your reverb and delay suck is because you don't automate them. So it was like a tutorial, somebody showing that. But yeah, it's super important to making your production sound vibrant is automating the effects, not just leaving it on static, But if you're talking about like actually like taking the reverb and bouncing it to audio and then fading it manually, like that really helps too. And I'm not sure which one that you're referring to, but both of those are like really, I would say more advanced techniques, but they really make a difference on how the production ends up sounding. So yeah, I'm glad to hear that you were able to implement that, and that sounds good. Ronnie, what's up, man? How you doing? So yeah, Mario, like right here, I'm automating this reverb, you know, or this effect. It's like a reverb delay. So without it, it would be like. Yeah, just cleaning up the reverb sometimes, bass from other tracks by ducking them against the snare. Yeah, I feel you, man. That's really important to do that. And Ronnie said, "Have you ever used FL Studio?" I have. I haven't. No, I haven't used it, and I don't really plan on using it. Not because I don't think it's good. I think FL Studio is a great program, but I'm a firm believer in sticking to one program and learning it really well, because I don't feel like it matters which program you use. Just as long as you're familiar with the program you're using, you can get amazing results by sticking to one program and learning that really well. So. I think that pitch might need to be slightly changed. Mario, you said, did you see the FL Studio mobile video that Asher Postman did? No, I didn't. I didn't see that, man. I feel like that pitch is slightly off. I don't really know what it is about it, but... I'm gonna put it into Melodyne and see where it's at here. Let's see what bass note this is playing here. The bass note is a D sharp. Bass note's D sharp. And what this is showing here is that it is a C sharp. So I think I need to go up 2 semitones on that. And let's see what that sounds like when I do that. I think I'm gonna keep it on Complex Pro. Oh, I need to cut out that sound. Cut that sound out. Cut this sound out. Cut out all the instruments. I still feel like the vocal's not right. There's something about it. Maybe cut out this what vocal. Let me try putting like this wider on it, make it a little bit stereo width. Ronnie, you said, what are my favorite plugins and VSTs? So actually, if you look right here to the left, I've got my favorites. Ableton allows you to select your favorites. So these are the plugins I use most right here. Camel Crusher, Echo Boy, probably Little Ultra Boy, RC48, Serum, Silent, and I've been using Wider a lot. Like, these are my main go-to plugins right here. That's why I have them in my favorites. And I do like this this reverb from UAD. So UAD has plugins that go inside of, I don't know if you can see this right here, they go inside of this audio interface that are to be used with it. So I like some of those plugins too, so let me show you this one. And what I'm gonna do here is maybe do like a little reverse reverb vocal. I'll put this way up like this. I'm gonna take wider off. And then maybe turn up the size. And then I'm going to freeze it, and then I'm going to flatten it, and then I'm going to reverse it into that vocal and see if that kind of helps smooth it out. I want it to be kind of abrupt like that, but I feel like it just kind of comes in a little bit too harsh. So flatten this, and then I'm going to reverse it. And the cool thing about this wider plugin right here, it's free, and it's really good for stereo width. I love using that. And when this, when I have those cut out, I'm gonna totally mute those effects from playing with the utility tool like this. Just turn that gain down. If you're watching right now, I appreciate y'all being here and just hanging out and vibing with me and watching me make music and just talking. You know, I love talking about music, and then I love making music. So thank y'all for being here. I appreciate y'all. So the next step right here, I'm going to try to fatten up this this little synth pluck that I've got going on. I love the texture on it. It sounds really cool, like that noise. I don't know if you hear that noise in there. This big white right here. So without it, it would sound like, it sounds really stale, but with it, it gives it a really cool feel. But I just want to widen that sound up a little bit. I don't want to overpower it with something else, but I want to stack something in there to thicken it up. Maybe what I'll try doing here is just taking that root note. I think F is the root note on that. And then D sharp. And then just stacking something. Let me add in a different sound here. I'm gonna have to make this sound automate just like this one here. might have to just draw it in here. I don't think that's gonna work. So I'll automate the volume. And then I'll just make sure that this one is mapped here. So I'm mapping that LFO rate. I can go ahead and delete this one. Actually, what I'll do is I'll bypass all of these, and then I'll route them on LFO3 so I don't have to change anything else. So just like that, and then let's see how that sounds. And then I'm gonna change up these the envelopes here. I want this LFO to create the envelope and not these here. That didn't come out quite how I expected it. Let me pick a different sound here. I need like some kind of a bass sound. Not too heavy. I wonder what this would sound like if I automated the LFOs. I kind of like the sound of that, but it doesn't seem to be cutting the sound off completely. There must be like a certain parameter in there. So what I'm going to do is take LFO tool and use this to kind of cut off some more of the sound. Let me drag this in here, and then I'll map this here also. Let's see if that will do the trick there. I might have to automate this separately here. So let me drag this on its own and then create a little instrument rack. I took off the triplet times and took off the dotted times. We'll do the same thing here. So configure this to the first macro, and when it's all the way down, I want it to be at 1/4, and when it's all the way up, I want it to be a maximum of 132. So I only have to do this once, and then I can drag this to every other plugin that I choose, which might be a faster way to see if it works than having to do it inside of Serum. So I'm going to just automate this here. Oops. You hear how LFO Tool did a similar thing to how it sounds inside of Serum? So with that, it's like, yeah, I like that because it doesn't take away from the sound. It just kind of adds like an underlayer. Or maybe something like that. Maybe this isn't the exact sound that I want. Maybe without this. Yeah, that's a little bit cleaner. I like that. Let's listen to it from the beginning here, see how it... I thought this was cool, what I did on these vocals for the intro. So I had this LFO tool going, like I had it kind of side chaining in. And then I had this second LFO tool cutting some of that off. So you get some of that side chain, but then it kind of cuts off like... And then just like reverb and EQ. Oh, I have some of those synths playing on accident. Let me cut that out real quick. I don't want this playing. Or that. And then maybe for the intro, I'll throw a little utility plug in here, and I'm going to automate that down. Automate the volume a little bit. Let me listen back again. Alright, let's hear the drop now. So I don't know if I like this sound anymore. Maybe that. There's something else automating this sub level. Trying to figure out what it is. Yeah, maybe that sounds better when I actually change the semitones on that, since it was on -5 semitones, so it wasn't playing an exact C note. Yeah, I like that better. So yeah, I'm just stacking and building right now. It's not where I want it to be at. It's not even close. But I'm just adding ideas, stacking the sounds, making it sound like fat and thick, and just throwing ideas down. Now I do want to add like a little top melody. I'm going to see what it sounds like if I add those strings in. I think it was strings. Oh, that synth lead. Make sure the sidechain is on. So what I'll do is just duplicate this, that way I don't have to worry about messing up the original sound. And then I'm going to go in and delete all that stuff. And then I'm also going to automate this just like the other sounds are doing. So I'm changing the pitch bend here. And then I'm going to copy that same automation that the sub and the chords are doing right here. And then copy it down into this. And then maybe also add in that filter automation so everything sounds like together. And then after that initial hit, I'm just going to mute it here. Maybe on this part, it would sound cool if I had that same LFO automation that's on this right here, except on silent. Let's try that. So I'll just copy it right there. And then maybe just quantize that sound a little bit there. That would be so cool if I had some trumpets. Like, who throws trumpets in a drop, you know? Like, that would sound cool. And then on this part of the drop, it might sound cool if I just muted this and then brought out that little up arpeggio sounding thing. I still don't know what that's called. When an arpeggio only goes up, I forget. I thought there was a name for it, but I can't remember it. Let me hear what it sounds like if I just fade this out with the utility. Fade out the gain. Something kind of like this. Hey Ronnie, if you're still in here, what are your favorite plugins that you like to use? I'd like to know, I'm curious. My laptop's about to run out of batteries. Let me just plug it in real quick. There we go. Hey Mario, thanks for coming by, man, and stopping by and saying what's up and interacting on the chat. I appreciate you being here. Thanks for stopping by. Christian, what's up, man? Thanks for tuning in. I'm just making this beat that I started on Facebook on Saturday live stream, and I had the idea to like turn one section of it into a drop, so that's what I'm doing right now. I might just deactivate that. I really want to bring out that like up arpeggio thing. Yeah, I'm gonna turn the volume of that up. So I actually might just copy that onto another track and delete that, delete this, that way it's on its own and I can mess with the volume. And then there's some other ones that I added in here to kind of complement. I think it's this one. So let's copy that in here. Thanks, Christian. I appreciate that, man. So I think I need to fix the timing a little bit on that to make it sound right. Christian, so I try to live stream every day at 12:30 when my daughter's sleeping. But last week I had work all week. It just depends when I have work, but usually when I live stream at 12:15 on YouTube. but the response I got on Saturday on Facebook was pretty good. So I might do like a midday live stream, weekly, you know, on Saturday if I can. But usually it's just during the week, and if you keep up with me on social media, I usually announce when I'll be live streaming, but usually it is at 12:15 because that's when my daughter's sleeping, so that's when I've got time. But if you don't have time to watch it, then usually I'll put the timestamps up on YouTube after I'm done with it, so you can go back and like skim through it. So what I need to do now is make these sounds match each other. They need to all be flowing the same. One of these sounds is off. I think it's that one. Maybe that sound is just a little bit loud when it echoes. There's just something that doesn't sound right about it, or the sidechain might be a little bit too much. Let me see what it would sound like if I turn it down here. And then definitely mute it when that hay comes in. Maybe I'll take the sidechain off on that kick. See what that sounds like. Maybe it would sound cool if I took out that kick completely and then took out the sub and then had like a pitch down effect right after that snare hit. That might be kind of cool. So let's see what that sounds like. So what I'll do is I'll add Little Ultra Void on the master here. So something kind of like this, and I can always fine tune it later. Let's just see what this would sound like. I think that's gonna sound cool. So what I might have to do here is I'm gonna route everything that I have going on here. I'm gonna route it to a pre-master, because I think it always sounds better when you're doing a pitch down effect if you do the pitch down with something like Little Ultra Void, but then also in a separate track going right to the master, you have like an actual like pitch down record effect. That what I've found is that always sounds better when you do it like that. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do here. Put that Little Ultra Void there, and I'm gonna route all of these groups in the song. I'm gonna route them to the pre-master. So just like that. And so I've got the pitch routed, and then now what I'm gonna do is do the same thing with the formant. To me it always sounds better whenever you copy and paste the formant and the pitch together. And then sometimes I like to do two. So like what I was saying before, having like that pitch, sorry, not a pitch, but like a record scratch or like a record down sound. Something like that. But it's not being affected by Little Alter Boy. So you hear how that sounds? I love the way that sounds like. So instead of that, it's like. You like the record scratch or the record down sound? That's a technique I've recently found that I like. I like the way that sounds. It makes it sound more realistic. But if you don't have Little Alter Boy, I love that for doing pitch down. And I got it for free. I don't think it's still free, but it was a free plugin when I got it. I think Sound Toys was giving it out when they first released it. But I just look for little deals like that when people give out free plugins and just try to collect them like that. Kristen, do you create music as well? Are you a producer? So when I want to stack those up sounds a little bit more. That sounds cool. You said you use FL Studio, you make electronic and hip hop too. That's awesome, man. How long have you been creating music for? I think in Fruity Loops there's like a cool pitch down effect that you can use. I've seen some people using it, but I don't remember what it's called. But I've had a lot of trouble finding a good pitch down effect to use. I used to bootleg all my programs back in the day, and then I stopped because I felt like God was telling me that it was wrong to do that. So like I stopped. But when I used to bootleg stuff, there was this one called Z-Plane Elastic, but it's so expensive though. But this is like the best pitch down plugin I've ever used. But like to pay $185 for a pitch down effect is kind of ridiculous. But I mean, it's really good. Like, it sounds amazing. I remember that. But oh well, you know. You said probably for 6 months. You still got to get a lot of external plugins. That's cool, man. Just keep going. If you're serious about it, just keep learning and keep producing and try to keep at it, because it'll pay off if you really love doing it. And you said, yeah, I want to buy all mine too. I don't do that anymore. So yeah, I mean, this was a long time ago when this happened. I used to bootleg everything back in 2000. Maybe like 2010. It's been like 10 years, so it's been a really long time. But yeah, I stopped a long time ago. But it's just tough. Like I mean, it technically is stealing, you know, but it's tough when you're a student and you don't have money to spend. But in all honesty, if you just use like the stock plugins for the most part, and just buy like a couple plugins that you really like that'll get the job done. But when you're like in the beginning, you think that the more plugins you buy, the better you'll become, but it's just a lie though. Like the better you are, the better music you can make on basic stuff, you know. So it's just kind of like you said, I'm using the demo version and it's making me have to use native plugins, which really helps get better. Yeah, man. So like you should definitely use as many free plugins and like native effects as you can, because you'll get better. Like it just you don't get better by buying more plugins. You get better by practicing. So it's just like with sports. Like you don't get better at sports by buying more equipment. You know, the equipment helps, but you get better by practicing. So I like to compare it like that. So I'm just duplicating this here because I want to affect it differently in the drop than I do in the verse. Hey Christian, what's up, man? Thanks for hopping in. So let me copy and paste what I have going on here. Maybe I won't have that little pitch down and hey play 2 times in a row. I have something different come in on that part. Yeah, there's 2 Christians in here now. Christian Curtis and Christian Rice. So on that second time around, I don't think I'm going to let that little altar boy come in. I'll mute that. Maybe I could add in like a tom or something. Let's add in like a thick tom. See what that sounds like. You said, Christian, you said whenever you bootleg your stuff, it messes up the computer with viruses. Yeah, so that's another downside too, you know. There's ways around getting viruses, but sometimes it just doesn't, the programs don't work as well too, you know. Besides the fact that it's stealing, it also sometimes the programs don't work as good. I've got a tom's. Oh, here we go. That's crazy. I feel like that's the perfect pitch. I didn't need to change it at all. Christian, you said, where do you get your sound packs and all, and or do you design all your sounds? So a lot of my sounds do come from Splice. If you've heard of Splice before, I think it's a great investment. It's $10 a month, and they have a ton of sounds that you can pick from on there. So that's some of it, and then I use a lot of cymatic stuff. I love cymatics, and then on top of that, then I like tweak the presets, and then I watch YouTube tutorials like Rocket Powered Sound, and just like try to copy songs that I love. So I'll like type in, you know, whatever the sound I want to copy, and then I type in tutorial on YouTube, or like Serum tutorial, and just learn. So I kind of do a mixture of both. I feel like that's the best way to use presets, change the presets, and then to make them your own. But there's no shame in using presets, you know, if you like the sound. And then just mainly getting drum samples off of Splice. So that's kind of how I like to do it. The only downside to using Splice is like if you're not very experienced, it can get really easy to just pull like MIDI loops and or sorry, not MIDI loops, but just like loops and samples off of there, and then not really know what key that they're in. The best way to use Splice is to take the loops off of Splice, and then to know what key it's in and be able to add stuff to it, or else, you know, you can't really make it your own if you're just getting loops off of there and just using them like that. So that's my only advice with that. I'm just doing a little volume automation here. Gives it slightly more human feel to it. Christian Curtis, if you're still in here, how's your new apartment, man? How's everything going along with that? Y'all all settled in already? Alright, I kind of want to stack this with like a trumpet or something. And just see what it sounds like. Let me find a cool, authentic sounding horn. And Christian Rice, so I got Contact, I think this is Contact 10. I bought it on Craigslist at the time. It was a long time ago. And it was really cheap. So sometimes like on Facebook Marketplace or whatever, you could find people selling Contact for really cheap because they're just trying to get rid of it. That's a really cool sound. Like that little pitch effect. It's crazy. Maybe like a low one and a high one would sound cool. So I'm gonna copy this in here. Let me get like a lower sound in there. I used to use Nexus. I don't use it anymore. Nexus is a really good plugin when you're a beginner. It has a lot of really cool like arpeggiated sounds, but the only downside is that you can't like customize those sounds and make them your own. But it's a really good plugin though. So I just changed that note there to add like a little harmony onto the end. I think I'm going to cut off that sound right about here and let the main melody play. Let's see what that sounds like. So what I'll do here is, maybe it'll sound better instead of just completely cutting it off, is change this rate so it slows down. I need it to slow down completely though. I'm going to ungroup that. Maybe that will work there actually. Just mute this here. That's playing an A sharp, but this is playing a C. Maybe I could just throw in another sound in there to stack it. I don't like the way that sounds, what I was doing there. Some kind of a synth to kind of carry the sound a little bit more. So that sound is continuing to play, so I'm going to try to draw in that volume automation there. Yeah, that sounds better. And maybe this one is 2. I feel like I want this note to change. Maybe what I'll do is do a little bit of a volume automation so it doesn't sound so abrupt. Extend that out just a little bit. Make it come in a little bit louder. Alright, cool. I think I have a pretty good basic structure for the drop right now. It would sound cool if I had some kind of like vocal chop or something that was just kind of like playing throughout, but let me listen to it here. Convolution Reverb. See what this sounds like. Alright, let me see what it would sound like if I added some more prominent hi-hats in here. See what that would sound like. So right now I just have them playing like let's see what happens if I add it like on every beat. Shorten up that sample a little bit. Match that hi-hat pattern with the synth. Maybe like a hi-hat stutter right here. I'm going to cut out this hi-hat here on the hey. And then maybe add like a reverse kick when that beat comes back in. That would sound cool. Christian, you said watching this with audio visualizing lights is pretty interesting. That's cool, man. Yeah, that's cool. I like this because it's different. It's different from what you hear right now. It's yeah, I don't know how to explain it. I like it though. It's different from what I usually make too. There's more textures, more melody, you know. So whenever it loops back around, I might try to bring out that sound a little bit. Just mute that sub. Cut that out, cut out the hi-hats. Maybe just temporarily turn that up. Add a little volume automation. Yeah, like I'm hearing, like I said before, I'm hearing some kind of like a rhythmic something, whether it's like a vocal or I don't know. I used a like a rhythmic synth in the song that I recently did. Let me drag that in and just see if I could play around with the melody. I'm thinking like a vocal chop would be really cool though. So I need to mess around with some like a melody in this key. So this is an F sharp minor. Let me bring in, I think I'm in, what key am I in? I forgot what key I was in. C minor maybe? That's what this says here. Let me bring in my little MIDI clip. I have a little MIDI clip. It's kind of like a cheat sheet. It has all the notes in the scale so that whatever you draw in, it's just automatically those notes there. So right now, just to recap, I'm trying to come up with some kind of like a rhythmic melody that's a really simple, nothing too melodic, just kind of like more of like a rhythm to keep you on track. Christian, you said there's like something in FL that you can use to draw in, like, so that you're only playing that, only drawing in notes in that scale. Is that what you're saying? Let me get the sidechain on here and see what that sounds like. Alright, let me bring in some kind of like a vocal chop. See where my vocal chops are at.
Yeah! Ooh! Yeah!
Christian, you said you can draw in a group the notes from a whole scale, and then you can use that to draw in the notes on the key. It doesn't force it to exclude a note outside of a crazy key, though. Yeah, so that's... Ableton doesn't include it, but I just kind of went in there and I drew in all the notes in the scale so that I could come back to it. But yeah, it's helpful when you're like drawing in notes, because I know my music theory for like playing and stuff, but sometimes it just helps to like draw it in. You just get a different ideas like that. And you said it really helped me when I was learning scales. Yeah, it's super helpful. That way. I like it with chords because I can't always play like complex chords. I know the basic ones, but I like it for like drawing in chords and stuff when I want something different. So I'm looking for some vocal chops here. I like that weird warping on there. Without that, it'd sound like... You said, Christian, you said, yeah, you can stamp in chords like minor, major, and a lot of other ones that you don't really hear about much. Yeah, man, for sure. That's why, because like I said, I know my basic chords and stuff, but when I get to playing like sevenths and ninths, like it's really hard for me to actually play that. So that's why it's helpful for me. You said, do I ever use 11ths for house songs? I think the most I ever go is ninths, but then I might stack like a melody on top of that, so maybe it's like technically an 11th. I don't really I guess I don't really ever think about it like that. I just kind of stack in whatever sounds good, you know? But I don't really ever think about what exactly is like the correct term for what I'm doing because I'm not trained in music theory. I just memorize my chords and my scales, so I don't really like, my mind doesn't initially go there. I'm just gonna keep stacking ideas on top of this. Just like that. Let me see what else I can find. See what this sounds like. Maybe I'll speed it up. Try to chop it up on time. Christian, you said, do you get your vocal chops from Splice? So sometimes I do. These were a sample pack that I downloaded. I don't remember exactly where it was. It was a free sample pack, and they had these little vocal chops in them. Sometimes I'll get, like I'm actually about to drag in something I got from Splice here in a little bit, right here, but other times I just chop up acapellas from, you know, some songs that I have acapellas from. My own songs, like I'll use vocal chops from those. Like what I have going on here, let's see, I have it going on at the beginning of the song. This is a vocal chop from a song that I worked on with a friend, but I never released it, at least not yet. So the original, I actually chopped these vocals up, and this is what it was like in the project I was working on. Well, here's the original. Right here. So I took that from his rap verse, and then I just messed with it here and then changed it into this. So you know, I kind of get him from different sources, I guess. That's kind of different and unique. Let's see what else I could stack in there. One thing that's kind of sticking out to me is like how monotonous it sounds on the downbeat. Like, so I might change that up. One thing I might do here is automate this dry wet knob. So let me do this. I'm gonna take the RC48. I'm gonna grab this preset called Honey. I like that one for vocals a lot. And then I'm gonna automate this dry wet knob. So it's dry in the beginning and then it's wet at the end. And I'm gonna take this one. Let's see what this sounds like if I just put on a little bit here. And then what I might do here is just take an auto filter. Might do that. Yeah, let's see what that sounds like. I'm gonna mute that for now, and I'm gonna drag in some vocal chops from, well, they're not really vocal chops, but they're just vocals from Splice that I had. These right here.
I can't stay. I can tell we can make this happen. You could do better.
Let's see what it sounds like. I'm gonna bring it down. It's in D sharp minor, so I need to bring it down 3 to match the C minor that this song is in here.
You can do better. You can do better. You can do better.
that's a cool sounding vocal.
You can do better. 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 You can do better.
See what it sounds like if I slow it down.
You could do better. You could do better. You could do better. You could do better.
Let's see what else I got.
Ooh.
Change it. It's in A minor, so go up 3. I don't think that's the right. Let's see, G sharp, so G sharp minor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. See what else I got.
Hey, you could do better. We can make this happen. I can tell. I can tell.
Put this on the work this to the right BPM here. Let's see what happens if I copy the same filter automation onto these tracks here.
You can do better.
I'm just trying different stuff out and seeing what works, really. Christian, you said, do you ever find yourself making songs off the wall that they just don't fit into an existing genre? Yeah, man, all the time. I feel like that's kind of what I'm doing right now, actually. And I'm just inspired by a lot of different kinds of music, so I find myself doing that really often, which is a good thing, I guess. I said it's a good thing, I guess, because sometimes it can be a bad thing because you can't really submit it to like a label because people don't have the same vision that you have. So that's the downside, but the good thing is that you're just making different music, you know. I'm gonna turn down the sidechain a little bit. But I'm going to cut out some more of the lows so it doesn't clash with the sub bass. But I do want those background vocals to be sidechained fully. So let me see. I'm gonna drag this onto here. Make this sidechain fully. This one too. I like that. me listen to the intro again. Maybe what I'll do is like echo this so it doesn't sound so abrupt. Yeah, I think that would sound good. Christian, you said how long do you normally spend working on your songs? Man, I spend a long time. If I had to guess, like so I just distributed my song last weekend. I got a new song coming out in 2 weeks. That song took me, if I had to guess, this is just a ballpark, I can't remember exactly, but I started on live stream, so probably about 3 hours, and then I did a part 2, another 3 hours, and then I worked on it probably 2 hours, maybe like 4 other days, so 8 hours plus 6 hours. I would say it probably took me 15 hours to make that song. And that's like, I did that one pretty quick. So yeah, it takes me a long time. But also, like, when you're trying to create something new and different, it can take you longer if you've never done anything like it before. Like this song right here, I spent 2 hours on this last Saturday. I don't know how long I've been live streaming for. Let's see, I've been live streaming for 2 hours now. So it's been 4 hours to make what I've made up until this point. But I don't really have a framework for, for doing a song like this because I've never done one before. So it's going to take me a while because I'm just trying ideas. Yeah, I can make a hip-hop beat in 2 hours pretty easy. But to like finish the song, it takes a little bit longer. So, yeah, I mean, I used to be like that too, but I can't work on songs all day anymore just because I have a baby, But things, in life, when you have children, you just have to, you just got to work around it.
You can do better.
I'm going to echo this. Instead of using a fade, I think I'm going to use a utility knob here. Now, Christian, you said it feels like you've been working on songs all day. Just to add on to something else about that is that when you're inexperienced and you're just starting out, it's going to take you longer to do basic stuff because you don't really know what you're doing. Everything's new. I feel like I'm at a point now where I'm making songs faster than I ever have, but it still takes me a while. I want to get faster because I have less time and I want to put out more music, but that just comes with experience too. I might put an erosion on this, see what that sounds like. So I'm going to use this as like a stacked echo track. And then I'm also going to use an echo boy on this one. I'll just automate it in like that. Let's see what that sounds like. I feel like this just comes in like a little bit too abrupt. Maybe like this auto filter on it some way. Make it sound a little bit cleaner. Yeah, I think that made it sound a little bit smoother. Let's see what it sounds like if I throw an LFO tool at the end there. Like. Maybe I'll automate it in. Something kind of like this. Christian, he said, yeah, you can use Elgato Stream Deck, which is basically a big macro keyboard. You can set up the keys and do certain actions to help you get faster. Yeah, man. It's just all about learning the DAW and learning what you're doing and getting more experience at it, and you'll get quicker for sure. Yeah, that sounds cool. I like that. You said, Christian, you said I use Stream Deck to have better productivity for graphic design. Oh, that's cool. I've actually never heard about that. I like the way this sounds. Maybe I'll add in the same auto filter on this part here too, because this kind of sounds abrupt to me. say you can even set up a button and press it to have Domino's deliver you pizza while you make music. That's crazy. I might add a little automation on the EQ here. Some more bells would sound cool. But let me see if I can fit these plucks in there. Like that sound in there, it like carries the beat forward. Christian, no problem, man. Yeah, I like that. It's crazy, this is so subtle, but I feel like it really helps carry the beat. If you're watching right now, thank you so much for watching and tuning in. I appreciate y'all being here. Maybe I'll turn these down a little bit. Yeah, man, you're exactly right on with that statement. What Christian said was something I've learned with media production and life in general is that small improvements can make up a big change in the end. So that's what it's all about. You know, you gotta improve slowly, and it's not one big technique to make your song sound good. It's like all the things that you've learned over time that add up and make it sound good. If it was just one thing, then everybody would be good at music production, because it would just be like just like one thing that you can do to make you good. But it's not that, you know, it's much more complex. It's like all the little things that add up to make you good, you know.
You can do better.
Let's see if this would sound cool in the drop or not. That could sound cool in the drop. Let me copy it here. Add a utility and then just turn down the gain here. Let me mute those vocals now and just see what all the instruments sound like. Copy this onto here, that way they're playing the same thing. timing here. I love these little synth up sounds. I thought there was one more sound. I thought there was like an electric piano sound in there. Where is that? I might have accidentally deleted it. Oh, it might be in here. Yeah, it's in here. This for a little melody idea in the drop. I'm just gonna throw that in there subtly. I'm gonna turn it way up just so I can hear what I'm playing. And then I'm also gonna turn these samples down so that there won't be so much of a lag. Be playing that in the background. Let me put it here like this so that it's looping. bit of quantizing on it. Just maybe like 25%. No, I don't like that. I'll just fix it here by hand. Turn this way down here, so just in the background. Do y'all like those vocal chops in there or no? Cause here's with the vocal chops. Maybe I'll try one like this. Yeah, overall I like the vibe of this. This is cool. This is different. You know, it's not like a heavy hitting drop, but it's something you could ride to for sure. I feel like I need some more bells, like some kind of bells to add texture in the background and make it sound more dreamy. Yeah. Let me see what this would sound like in here. Maybe just those two spots, just have that vocal play like that. And I'll delete that, put it on its own track like that. Let me add some saturation here. A little bit of flavor. That just adds that, you know, authentic flavor to the drop. There is a lot going on, but that might be, I might have to eventually pick what I want to come to the forefront in the mixing process. Cool. I think that's gonna wrap it up, guys. My daughter's awake and I'm about to hit the gym right now, about to go get my workout on. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. I don't know if I'll be doing this tomorrow yet or not, but I will for sure be doing this on Wednesday. But tomorrow I've got to decide if I'm gonna just work on music on my own time or if I'm going to do a live stream. So I'll let y'all know in the community tab on YouTube. But thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you guys being here. It's always fun to hang out with you guys and make music. So yeah, until next time, I'll catch y'all later.